Buonasera, buongiorno, or buon pomeriggio. I still can't get used to this new. I think I'm gonna have to change it again. This new opening. Welcome everybody. Welcome to another live stream from a home in Italy, live in beautiful but a little bit chilly Abruzzo. Great to be with everybody again. Can't wait for you to watch this evening's show. A little bit different for us because we've got quite a few couples coming on. So the screen's going to be divided into 4 or 5, and no doubt Tony's going to make a complete hash of everything. But we'll do what we can. We'll do our best. So it should be a good one. So this evening we are talking about my favorite subject, Abruzzo. So it's the special edition because we've got a number of guests coming on that have recently joined our October tours. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of cheap, promotions going off just to push the tours as I normally do. And also you can find out what everybody thought of Abruzzo, which I believe everybody, I think it was their first time that all of them have been there. We can double check that later, but I'm sure it was. So you're going to hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak, exactly what they thought of Abruzzo and all the towns that we visited on the tours. Okay, so if it's the first time you join us this evening, then welcome. My name's David Benton, and together with my wife, Silvana, we've been helping people move, helping people buy, helping people restore to beautiful Italy. And we're hoping to do the same for some of you guys out there. So please let us know where you are in the world. Write us a little message. Let us know which part of the world you are. I can see a few people coming in. I like to make sure I'm not just sat here talking to myself. I do see a number of people from, let's have a quick look. Yeah, YouTube. Facebook doesn't seem to have kicked in yet. But if you are watching on Facebook, then send us a message just so I can make sure everything is working. People should start coming in from now. So as I said, this evening we're talking about the beautiful Abruzzo area, which is obviously where I live and where we tend to promote. So before we start that, I've just got a few notices to tell you. And I have got a little bit of a confession. I'll do the confession in 5 minutes once everybody's in the room because I know Tony's going to be one that's going to start taking the mess straight away. But I have got a confession. So it's confession time shortly. The few things I want to tell you, what do I need to tell everybody? Yes, speaking of the tours, just to let you know, next year, the January tour, it looks like we may have a couple of space. And I know I keep saying this every week, but without going into the boring stuff, we changed our booking system halfway through. And I've just made life unbelievably complicated for myself, just working out if I've accidentally booked too many people on. But don't worry, we will have transport for you. You know, we're going to have a few bikes running alongside the buses and a few horses and that kind of thing. But I will be putting the exact amount of spaces that there is left, if any, in January, because I think there may be 1 or possibly 2, and the same for March. April, there is only 1 seat available now, and May, there is only 8. So if you are looking to come on the tours next year, go onto our website, www.homeinitaly.com, and click on the tours page, and there's a PDF there. You can find out all about them, because obviously we'll be talking a little bit about that tonight, because these guys have all been on the tours, and book yourself in. I'm going to be putting the new dates for next autumn, or fall, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be doing September, October, and November. I'm going to be putting those dates on the web page before Christmas. Everything's going to be done before Christmas. Then people can book those. And then depending on how bookings go, it may be that we do possibly 2 in October, but that's still to be seen. So that's the first set of things. What else do I need to say? Next week, let's talk about show. Tony, can I just grab the screen for 1 second? Okay, so future webinars, or live stream, should I say, taking us right up to Christmas. Can you believe it? Can you believe it's nearly Christmas? The thing is, things don't really get moving here until around about the 8th of December. When I'm it's going to be one of those nights when I'm ringing back home in the UK, and I think Christmas started there around about the end of August. But here in Italy, it's just the celebrations don't start until the 8th of December, when it's the feast of the Immaculate Conception. and then it all kicks off. So yeah, but I still can't believe we're nearly there. Anyway, what am I trying to say? Why have we got written 28th of November, Tony, on that? No idea. Anyway, the 5th of December, that's next Tuesday, we're doing the cost of living in Italy. We haven't done one of those for quite a while, so that should be a good one. We're going to be talking bills, we're going to be talking shopping, we're going to be talking lots of different things to give you an idea, the kind of costs, and also to give you some kind of ideas on taxes and annual taxes and things like that, and healthcare and all that sort of stuff, all that good stuff. So that's on the 5th of December. The 12th of December, Meet the Home Buyers. That's going to be a great one. We've got a family that's actually here now. So Scott, if you are listening, then hopefully you're going to do that. I think I've already asked you once. If not, I'm asking you now. So hopefully they're going to join us with their wonderful, beautiful family that have just got themselves or in the process of getting a fantastic property. Then on the 19th of December, it's the big, massive Christmas party. Don't you just love these titles? It's been really well thought out, this one. Basically, that's going to be an hour of me sat here drinking different wines, and that's pretty much about it. And anybody that wants to join in the conversation can. I may be asking a few people from past Meet the Home Buyers. I think we might have a little bit of a party. We may even see if we can get some music on there. So that's the up and coming live streams. That's taking us right up to Christmas. And then for 2.5 weeks, we're going to be missing because the computer is going to be switched off. My telephone, this is, my kids have warned me that they know they want to disown me if I don't do it. So it's phones off, computers off, and finished. Going to be difficult, but we'll try. That's for Christmas and New Year. Rose, are there any tours in June 2024? We're considering. The problem is, Rosa, is it gets very hot and it can be really uncomfortable getting on and off coaches and things like that if it gets too hot. And we tend to do them towards the end of the month. So not sure about that one. The way things are going and all the bookings that we've had, it would be great to get another one in, but I will let you know within the next in the next week or so if we're going to do a June one. Okay, confession time. And get ready for the sound effects, because no doubt Tony, the producer, will add a few sound effects and like that one. So just get ready for a few of those. It is confession time. And I've already had Tony taking the mess out of me for the last 15 minutes that we've been talking prior to coming on. And it's to do with the website. And I know some of you are going to be saying, here we go. And yes, I am saying, here we go, because I did promise that by the end of November, and I promised quite a lot, if I remember rightly, on last week's webinar, that the website will be completed. Now, we are well into it. And I am personally doing as much as I can. But when I've started doing this thing, and there's quite a few changes on there that I'm doing. There's quite a number of new properties to go on. There's 50 odd new properties. There's also a lot of explainer videos that I need to do. And basically, what I thought was going to be a reasonably simple change is turning into a little bit of a longer job. So, confession. I was waiting for the end, actually, but okay. So it's going to be, no, I'm not saying I'm going to say it's going to be everybody's Christmas present, because it will be done before the Christmas break, because before I finish, and we finish on the 20, it's my daughter's birthday on the 22nd, so we usually finish round about then. Gary's saying, I'm here, did not get an email, fella. We wanted Gary on because Gary is the radio presenter of the century. So Gary, it's going to have to be next time, I'm afraid, because there's a couple of people that didn't say that told me they didn't get the emails. Gary was one of our tour people on the tours, and along with Al as well, that was going to come on. Unfortunately, the next time we do the Abruzzo one, I'm going to be asking you guys to come back on. There's been a few people that didn't get my emails. Yeah, so where was I? A website. So we are working on it. It's definitely going to be done before the 22nd. Pete saying, you weren't fooling anyone. My money is on maybe April for the new. Thank you, Pete. In fact, Pete's definitely going to join us. He's going to join us on the big, massive Christmas party. That's Pacentro Pete. He'll definitely be on there. So we're getting a few people now taking the mess. Tony, don't just keep putting those comments on that's having to go at me about the about the website, but it will be done, and it's going to be great because it's going to have everything on there that everybody needs. It's just going to be full of it. So there you go. So apologies, but at least I'm honest with you. And but yes, it will be done before Christmas, and it's going to have some new little explainer videos. We've got Patreon coming, we've got a new forum coming, so there's lots of stuff packed in there, and I just want it to be right. So Michael saying you need to hire someone to manage the website. This would free you up to do what you love doing. I know, I do it. There does need to be some changes, and yeah, that's what the problem is. We like to do things ourselves, but as we all know, we can't do everything ourselves, but we do try. Okay, because we've got a number of people joining us, we've got 4 couples. Well, one of them's missing a partner, but we're going to have a good few people coming on tonight to tell you what they think of Abruzzo. So I'm going to get started with the juicy bits to start with before we hear what everybody else thinks about it. And Jamie, if you're watching at home, then that she was going to come along and do it. She was going to give a big thumbs up for my side of the mountain around the Palombaro area. So I'm sure she'll join us at a later time because hopefully she's got some things to say to us later. So Jamie, I hope you're feeling better. Okay, so let's get talking Abruzzo and why I love it so much. And I would say the vast majority of people that contact me, the vast majority of people that come out, and I would almost say everybody that comes on the tours have never been to Abruzzo before. And it is fast becoming the place to be. It was second on the most popular places for foreign buyers quite a while ago, and I think it's got to be edging towards first. It has to be, and it's only when you come here that you appreciate it. Now, the thing with Abruzzo, it doesn't have a Rome, it doesn't have a Florence, it doesn't have a Siena or a Venice or anything like that. That's not what Abruzzo is known for. That's not what this area is about. What it does have, in my opinion, hopefully in the opinion of everybody else that comes on here tonight, is this genuine, I don't know what the words are, but this realness about it, this thing of when we go away, if we go wherever we go in the world, or if we go somewhere in Italy and we really enjoy it and had a great time, when you come back to Abruzzo, it just feels like home. And I know it is home because I live here, but there's just something about it. There's something different. It just, for me, it has an edge on the place. I love going to Rome and Florence and all these places. I love that sort of for a few days, but then it sort of falls off a little bit for me. And it's great to see the sights and everything. But to be honest, now I can go to Rome and I can spend a Sunday there. I can get up from where I am here, set off at 8 o'clock, be in Rome for 10:30, have the day there, and come back for 8 o'clock in the evening, and I've done what I wanted to do in Rome. Whereas Abruzzo, there's just we've been coming here now for, my daughter's 21 or will be 21, for 20 years, 19-20 years. Authenticity, that's the word, Jason. Thank you. And it's just even as time passes on, I see new things and experience new things, and that for me is what Abruzzo is all about. So if you're looking for Rome, if you're looking for Firenze, if you're looking for Venice, if you're looking for Siena, if you're looking for Perugia, all of these things, you're not going to find that here. But you're going to find something that is better than all of that. Something that's like a real genuine sort of thing. What I want to start by showing, before I start inviting people on, I just want to quickly talk to you about the geography of it all and the kind of areas that we deal in. So let me just see if I can. No, I think it was better before, wasn't it? When I'm a little bit smaller. Let me get my little pen. So I live in this area here, where the black mark is. Obviously, all the green areas are national parks. So this is the Maiella National Park, which for me is my favorite for lots of reasons. I just think it's called the Mother Mountain. It's a very friendly mountain. You can easily get up into the mountain and down into the coastline and everything. It's just so easy to get around from here. I think that's why I really like it. And if you look at the distance from the coast, it's actually the closest part where the coast meets the mountain. So where I live here to my local beach resorts, which is here, it takes about half an hour, something like that. But I just find that the Maella National Park there's just a lot more attractions and things like that. The Gran Sasso is incredible, and it's a brilliant mountain to see, but there's just something for me that does it with the Maella. And this is why we chose certain areas to deal in. So the areas that we cover a lot, especially on the tours, is this area here, which is around the Sulmona, Raiano, Vittorito, Prezza, Intro d'Acqua, Pacentro. This is all in this area here. This is called the Val di Peligna, which for me is incredible. Everybody knows that I love Sulmona, and I just think that area has something really special. Yes, you are a little bit further away from the coast, but you have the motorway right on your doorstep. So the motorway, you're straight on the coast in no time at all. And then you've got the choice of the south and the north part of the coastline. I'm going to quickly touch on that because there's a huge difference between that. The other areas that we cover on the tours are around these areas, which is the Casoli, Palombaro, Penepiedimonte, Faro San Martino areas. We also now go as far south as Atessa. We don't go any further than that. And I'm not going to go into why on this particular session, because as I said, we've got people that are coming on to speak to you as well. But if you watch some of the past videos about about Abruzzo, you'll see why I don't go further down inland from Vasto, even though I absolutely love Vasto. We're also starting work in Lanciano, and also we cover areas such as Roccamorici and these sorts of areas. So this is sort of our area at the moment. What we are doing is concentrating more in this sort of area, which is the winemaking valleys. And we're also going to be next year getting some more contacts in these areas. So Penne, Cepagati, Pianella, Loreto Apretino, a little bit closer to Pescara. I still personally prefer these areas, but there's lots of pluses for these as well. Further north, Atri is very nice. I just find that there's nice towns and then there's a lot of nothing, in my opinion. Obviously, we can't deal everywhere, as nice as that would be. It's just not possible. So I want to give you a little bit of a flavor of some of the differences. The main differences, what you will find between the north and the south parts is the coastline. The coastline is hugely different. So this now is we're looking at the coastline from Pescara northwards. So just to give you an idea, here's Pescara in the middle. The coastline, say from Francavilla, just after Francavilla, up this way, is completely different to the coastline from Ortona down to Vasto. Completely different. So the famous Trabocchi are found in this stretch. And the main differences that you can see, I'm going to try and show you in photographs. This is Pineto. It's a beautiful beach. They are great beaches, sandy beaches, whereas further south you get a mixture of sand, pebbles, and a bit of everything. But I do find it quite regimented. Some people like that kind of thing. Pescara is a little bit like that, and some people love it. Whereas when you head south, this is Vasto, absolutely beautiful coastal town. And you can see this is the famous Trabocchi. That a lot of them are now restaurants and that kind of thing. There's just a little bit more to the south coastline. Here's the cycle path that they've done in Abruzzo that goes from the far north to the south, or it will do once they've completed it. But when it hits the Trabocchi coastline, so the southern areas, so just south of Pescara downwards, it's just a little bit more picturesque. There's still the modern facilities, there's still the bars and restaurants, there's still sandy beaches, but you also get a mixture of rocks, as you can see here. There's just more to the coastline. So that's a huge thing to consider, depending what's your favorite kind of beach. That will then determine whether you look further north or look further south or look around Sulmona and have the best of everything. That was clearly not the sea. Somebody asked me earlier what the weather was like in our area now. So I just thought I took this photograph yesterday and just wanted to show you. So this is Palombaro. So these areas we're going to be looking at just for a few. Let me show you on the map again. So the areas where I live, which is around this area, is completely different again to around the Sulmona area. So looking at this Palombaro area, this one here, let me just show you a few photographs just to give you the kind of idea of the scenery. So this is Palombaro with the backdrop of the Maiella. It looks like you're way into the mountains, but if you stand in Palombaro looking outwards, then you're looking down towards the coast. So you're quite close to both. I said this photograph was taken yesterday. We had a little bit of snow on the mountains, but we very rarely get it where we are. And I live, I don't know if you can, let me change the color of the pen. My house is roughly, well, it's just out of picture actually, but my house is just around a little bit further right than that. So that's where I live. So if you're passing, pop in. Again, some more shots from this. Again is Palombaro. Then we have Carsoli, that's close by, a beautiful hilltop town, market town. This is Fara San Martino. Fara San Martino is famous for Di Cecco pasta. You probably buy that wherever you are in the world. You'll buy that. There's also Del Verdi pasta there, and Giuseppe Cocco pasta. And again, it's a great time. It looks like you're way up in the mountains. It's actually quite low down. And again, you're only sort of 35, 40 minutes to the coast. This is typical of some of the things that we get up to on a Sunday. This is in Penepiedimonte. This is called Balzolo. You can see this is Palombaro here. So you can see the countryside sort of, it goes more rolling if you stood at one side, if you're looking from one side of the village looking outwards compared to having the mountains in the background. So it is really varied. And the great thing is, the mad thing is, from where we are here, Balzolo, you can jump in the car and less than 40 minutes you'll be sat on the beach. So again, it's just that accessibility. The tough thing about these areas is the public transport's not as good as what it is further around the corner heading towards Sulmona and places like that. This is Civitella Messa Raimondo, which is close to Fara San Martino. Moving round the mountain a little bit, these are areas near Letto Manopello, Rocco Morice. This is Rocco Morice. And this is basically running along the line of the motorway heading towards Sulmona. Again, this is Rocco Morice, beautiful place. The ski resorts are up here. But you've just got such varied landscape. It is incredible. I know I'm flicking through these photographs, but I'm keen to get everybody on now to tell you their thoughts. So this is in Rocco Morice. This is the famous Santo Spirito. You've got 1,000 years of story here of a chapel built into the mountainside that is just outstanding. Then we have Sulmona, one of my favorite places. So before we start talking about that, because there's a few photographs of that area, I want to start bringing some people on just so we can start talking. Let me get rid of this photograph. So I think we're gonna do it in yes, you're right, Laurent, they are beautiful villages. Let's get some people on. I'm going to do it in, there's actually, how many is it? 2, 4, 6, 7 people in total. I think I've got that right. So I'm going to bring them in the order that they came on the tours. So we'll let me just get Joe and Sherry and Joe and Chris. Let's get you on. So everybody's sitting up right now and getting ready. I can see them in a little camera, getting straightening their ties up. Oh no, they haven't got ties on. Anyway, let's go. So this is Joe and Sherry.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
And let's bring Joe and Chris on at the same time. Cheap sound effects. Okay, Tony, you reminded me about, let me just get rid of this logo, otherwise we're going to be blocking some people's faces. Let me just get rid of that. Oh no, it's saying delete it. Why is it doing that? Okay, there we go. Okay, welcome, Joe and Sherry. And how are you doing?
Good.
Where in the States are you? Let everybody know in the States where you are.
So we're in Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
And yeah.
That's where you're living currently. So when you came in on the tour in October, was that the first time you'd been to Abruzzo?
It was. We had been in Sulmona at that point for about a week beforehand.
Okay.
Or a week and a half beforehand. But yes, that trip was the first time we had been to Abruzzo.
Okay. And Joe and Chris, whereabouts in the States are you?
Just outside Atlanta.
Just outside Atlanta. And when you guys came over, was that I know, Joe, that you're Italian, but is it the first time you've been to Abruzzo?
First time in Abruzzo, yes.
Okay. So obviously I'm going to be asking similar questions to all of you, but I'll start with you again, Joe and Sherry. What did you think Abruzzo was going to be like? Before you came here, obviously you looked into it, you wanted to come on the tours, you were looking for a house. What did you imagine Abruzzo was going to be like?
It was pretty much what we had imagined it would be. We originally went to Sicily several months earlier, and we love Sicily, but it's not that easy to get to for people to come visit, and for you to branch out and see the rest of Europe. It's not so hard. I mean, it is hard to get off that island, and so we wanted something that was still like southern Italy, because it's just a warmer sort of group of people, I feel. Not that I've really spent much time in the north, but anytime anyone's spoken to me about it, you're going to feel like you're someone else in a city, just another big city that you're in. And we really like Sulmona because of the size. We have lived in places that were Manhattan, Vermont, Saratoga Springs, New York. Now we're in Greenville, and we always find that we're happiest when we can walk out the house and see people and have things to do. That's why we knew we didn't want a village. So for some people, that's exactly what they've been craving their whole lives, is to be in a small village. We spent over 20 years on a hillside in Vermont, so we've already done that. And we find that we get out more if you leave to get a loaf of bread and then you don't come back for 4 hours because you ran into people in the street or you sat down somewhere else. So we just wanted something big enough where that could happen. So you get lost. We walk around and you get lost in lost in Sulmona, but it's,
well, I will say that does happen in the countryside as well. My wife will be testament to that she absolutely hates it when I pop down to the local tiny shop and come back 4 hours later. So, Joe, obviously you're Italian. Your family, is it Calabria where they come from? Your family, if I remember, or is it Calabria, or is it go on the next area up, which I've got Campania? Oh, we seem to have lost.
It's from the next. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Joe, we seem to have lost your connection slightly. Let's see if we can do anything about that. I'm going to knock Joe off the stream a second, and I'll come back to him. I think he may have disappeared completely. Anyway, so we'll come back. So, obviously, you came on the tour, open-minded. The tours, we see small villages, we see all sorts of different. When we first started, obviously, we kicked off in Vittorito, and we went Vittorito, Raiano, and then I think we went to Predse, if I remember rightly. Mm-hmm. What were your impressions? I know you wanted a bigger town, but what did you think about these small places when you started?
They were gorgeous. I remember that the first house that we went to was just literally perfect. I mean, you couldn't want anything more. It was a gorgeous, well-kept home. And if you're used to prices, I guess, in the United States, it was astoundingly reasonable. And you literally would have had to do nothing to it. It was gorgeous, literally gorgeous the way it was. But it was also a smaller place. So if you're like us and you don't want to buy a car, or at least not initially, and you want to be able to get around, and you want to be able to do a lot of things, and you want to be able to hop on a train from where you live and get to Rome, hop on a train from where you live and get to Milan, and so forth. It wasn't going to be what we had ultimately planned on doing. But they were gorgeous.
They were tempting. They were tempting.
I had heard about Picentro before I got there on your tour, and from somebody who knew a professor in Picentro who was some sort of expert on medieval history. So he told me about the place. It's gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous places. But again, it just depends upon what you want. If you're comfortable being in a small place, if you're planning on getting a car,
absolutely,
in particular, then I would see it 100% as a reasonable place. And they were all beautiful. And honestly, certainly the first house that we went to, I loved it a lot. I kind of wish we had planned on getting a car.
It was a great one.
This is going to be hard. If you keep showing us this, it's going to be hard.
So, Joe, sorry, we lost you for a short while. So, did you say is it Calabria where your family's from? Where you're originally from?
No, my family, my parents, they're from Campania, a little town, Sarno, next to Salerno.
Okay, so this north and south thing, because the other Joe gave a great point, because I agree with him, but you being Italian, what do you think of the difference between Italians from the south? So when we say south, we can say probably Rome southwards and certainly Abruzzo southwards. Would you say there is a big difference between the people?
There is a difference. You know, I think for me, it's more that in the South, the difference that we're talking about is more consistent. It's spread, it's widespread. In the North, you know, like for instance, we did a couple of weeks up in the North, Lago di Como, Lago di Garda. If you go into those small towns in those areas, you find the same kind of people with the same kind of genuine Italian culture, you know, that make you feel so wonderful. But in the South, it's just a lot more widespread. You know, it's not a hit and miss. It's going to be there. Yeah,
it is strange, that, isn't it? Because it is literally. I mean, I suppose we can't literally say it's everybody that's so friendly, but it is a huge portion, though, isn't it? It's unbelievable, and credit to people from the South, because in some instances, obviously, they don't get. Can I say they don't get treated as well as the North, but certainly that some of the money doesn't get there that the North get, and considering that, the people are just so fantastic, aren't they? So it is brilliant. So what did you guys think of Abruzzo? What was your thoughts? What did you think it was going to be like?
Well, we did some research as well, and you know, we were so looking forward to seeing these places, you know, right there up front. And yeah, I agree with Joe. Every single place we went to was fantastic. It was beautiful. For us, Raiano, Atessa, we really loved Atessa because of the location, like you said, coming down south, but being a little closer to the shore, a little closer to Vasto, that we thought was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we just think that Abruzzo met with all of our expectations and then some. We loved Pescara. We really did. I think that as our place, our sort of like our base for then, because we were there for a little longer after the tour, we really fell in love with the versatility of Pescara, and again, very nice people that we met.
Yeah. I mean, Pescara is obviously a bit modern, isn't it? Because it got completely destroyed in World War II, but it does have that nice vibe, doesn't it? I think everybody, and even from the other tours as well, people just seem to really like. So I'm just going to bring some more people on. So let's get Liam and Susan, and we'll get Roger on. 1 second. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hello.
Good. I'm absolutely loving your Parco Nazionale. Can you just stand up? Can you just do a little bit of there it is, look, the Maiella National Park. There you go. bit of cheap publicity for them as well. Let's get Roger on here as well. Hi, Roger.
Hello.
How are you guys doing? So you're keeping well then, all of you, Liam and Roger, Susan, you keeping well?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So Liam and Susan, I'll come to you first. Was it when you were planning your trip over? I mean, obviously, it was the first time for you guys in Abruzzo, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it the first time in Italy or just Abruzzo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the first time in Italy.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
So you've not done any of the Romes and the Florences, anything like that?
No, we flew into Rome and rented a car and drove straight to Pescara. So that was, we got to see the airport in Rome, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's all we did.
Well, you can see it some other time, I'm sure. What did you think of the drive over from Rome to Pescara through the mountains?
So it was gorgeous. I mean, it was beautiful. And one of the things that you pointed out earlier too is the lower elevation, because a lot of times to see that kind of scenery, we'll go to Colorado and, you know, you're at 10,000 feet, 14,000 feet. I don't know, was that at, 3,000 meters or more? And so it's a little bit more difficult to breathe up there. So it was so nice to be in mountains, and it's like, wow, we can walk around, we can breathe. This is nice. So
yeah. So good. So did Abruzzo, was it what you expected? What were you expecting when you came out?
So I don't think we really knew what to expect.
Yeah, I didn't have any kind of notion of what it would be like.
Yeah, I mean, we've watched your videos, and that's definitely what brought us over there. because what we're looking for is, I would say, probably a more laid back lifestyle. We live right now, we're on the east side of Houston, and I normally work in Austin, and I drive a lot. And so we're getting closer to retirement, and we're like, we want a place that's a little slower. So one day we were watching one of your videos, and I told Susan, I said, let's go. I want that place. Let's go right now. So, so yeah, we were able to come over, and like I said, we didn't know what to expect. And I really, we're trying to decide what words to use to describe it. And
there is one word you could use,
I almost put my stunning T-shirt on, but it's not clean right now. I wear it all the time. So
I'm going to get some printed, actually. I'm definitely going to do that next year. Okay. So Roger, let's bring you in on this as well. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Was it your first time in Italy or in Abruzzo?
First time Italy, first time Abruzzo. My wife was there. Yeah, my wife's been to Italy before. We watched after discovering you and hearing your praise, we watched every walking tour we could get of the Abruzzo region. I mean, we saw 4 different tours of Sulmona, and none of those videos did justice to how beautiful that area is.
That's good to hear. It is true, isn't it? It's difficult to do. I mean, when you do the videos, even when you take photographs, and I'm sure all of you, when you took photographs when you were here, and I remember we always used to do it when we lived in the UK. We used to take the photographs, and I used to take them in particular of our house, obviously, before we restored it. And we'd seen the beauty around it, but people were looking at our house, and so, you were showing it, couldn't wait to show someone, and they were like, oh yeah, that looks nice, with the sort of, oh my God, what's it done type of thing. But it doesn't matter how good a photographer you are, almost, you just can't capture that, can you? That you see when you're out here. So Roger, what were you looking for? What was your idea? Were you looking for busy town? Were you looking for village, or were you open-minded?
We were looking for community, because that's what in a more genteel life. You're walking around, people say hello to you, you're in the cafes. Everywhere you go, it's this common civility that we're missing in California.
Yeah. That is a huge thing. Again, it's the basics of, sorry, I'm moving everybody around here 1 second. It's the basics of saying good morning to somebody, isn't it? It's the idea that you can actually walk somewhere and somebody says good day or something like that. We're just not, it's strange. We're not used to that anymore. And it's terrible, really, when you think about it. It's just not, it's not right that nobody says hello to each other anymore. So Joe, let's just quickly go back to you guys. Obviously, you were looking for the busy place. You found Sulmona. You loved Sulmona. And then something happened. I remember having a conversation with you when you got back, and it was almost, we've got to buy in Sulmona. We've got to get something.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And I got the sense that it was almost to the point of, not that you would have bought anything, but it's a good job me and
I had to stop him.
It's a good job me and Sherry spoke. That's all I can say. But why do you think that was? Was it because you loved it so much, or were you worried that you wouldn't find anything, or what was behind your thoughts?
We spent most of our time there, and it was great every day. We went to different bars in the morning for our coffee, and they remember, maybe because we were tourists, the waitress would remember what we wanted pretty much. And, they'd always say hi to you because they saw you the morning before. It's big enough that I could just walk and walk and walk, and you don't get lost. It's not that big, but it's just endless how many places you can go to see. The buildings themselves are just so fabulous to watch. The piazza was just so fun to sit on the edge of that and people watch, if that's your thing. I love to do that. But we wanted it didn't tick all our boxes. We had a lot of boxes, everyone does, that they want everything ticked. I want a historic, I want tile, I want stone. It doesn't have any of that. It just has excellent location, and we can walk in and put our suitcases down, and it's very small. So if now we can leisurely just look around for maybe something more historic, maybe something a little bigger that kids could come to. But right now, we now have a place, or we will, when close, but we'll have a place that we can just settle in and work out of there.
And I can assure you it's a great place. And the reason why I say I can assure you, just to let everybody else know, you've never actually seen this place, have you? You got back and sent me a message and said, go and have a look at this. We went to have it. So you've never seen it. Deposits are down, and you're closing in January. So are you feeling nervous about that?
Not at all.
No, you make it like we pretty much handed it over to you, Dave. So, and you've done this before,
Right? Exactly. No, we're not feeling nervous.
So we just, I will say that because Joe was so ahead of the game, so we had our
codice fiscale, we kind of knew. I had read a lot of things about property transfers already, contracts already. So none of it was really a surprise. And we had already had the bank transfer account with the money already in euros, so that we could transfer it instantly, which is, I think it transferred in 18 hours to the buyer's account.
Yeah, it was really quick, wasn't it? Yeah. So that all worked out really good. It meant that we could do things pretty quick as well, didn't it? So yeah, it's all go for you guys. I'm looking forward for you to actually see the place, but you'll definitely not be disappointed. Okay, so
walked by it, so
right, yeah, you've been close to it, haven't you? You've been on the street. So, Chris, so obviously married to an Italian, you know all the I'm married to an Italian as well, so I know how it all works between family rows and eating and drinking and everything else. The sense of community, was it? I mean, obviously, with Joe's family and all that side to your family, is that important, would you say, for your family, for your kids as well? Do you feel that's really important that you keep that thing going, that you keep all of this?
Absolutely. That's why Italy is our number one and only choice. The kids, they've traveled over there quite often, and we've taken them since they were young. They've stayed with his parents for the summer. So yeah, Italy, it's just, you're just family, no matter who you meet. I'm telling you, they just love you from the first moment.
It is. And it's crazy because, again, I mean, obviously my wife's Italian, and that's the feeling I got when I first went there. And it's a feeling, I mean, we spoke about this, Joe, as well, when we were together on the tour. It is so special, that feeling of community, that feeling of family and all the rest of it. That I think as a country, it's got to be quite unique in the world to have that kind of, and it's something that you do want to pass on as well, isn't it? And I think the other great thing as well is how people adopt non-Italians, because obviously I came out here as Mr. Joe foreigner, if you like, but people treat me the same as they were, and even our next door neighbors, it's all about family. It's all about being part of something bigger than finding a house or finding a town or something like that. It's being part of something special, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously all your kids will all be, how many kids have you got? Quite a big family, haven't you?
We have 5 daughters.
Right, okay.
3 are married, and they're saying, okay, when are we going? What did you buy?
Superb. Okay, so Liam and Susan, I saw that your son must be watching. Was it your son that wrote quickly?
Yes.
Yeah, he must be watching. So what do the kids think about you? I mean, are you actually, I hope I've not lost it. Are you actually thinking about moving here, or is it a holiday home?
Probably now a holiday home, and eventually move there.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So the kids they kind of got mixed emotions. I think that they would love to go visit, but not live there. They've got their own community they built here. So we're going to play it by ear. But right now we're serious about a holiday home for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good. And Gary is saying, congratulations, Joe and Sherry. So pleased for you both. So it's a shame we can't get Gary on, but next time we will. We'll definitely get him on. So when we spoke about community and that kind of thing, I mean, I don't know if you can remember this place, Predsa. I'm sure we all went there.
Beautiful.
I mean, this this was one of the smallest places that we went to, that so many people were taken again by the community, even though we didn't see lots of people. But I don't know if there was the people that let us into the houses. But if I remember rightly, this seemed to really, some people really got the small town. And I think, Roger, it may have been your wife. Was it your wife that fell in love with Preds? I could be wrong, but but how did you feel going into these small towns and villages that maybe didn't have all the facilities as the bigger ones had? How did you guys feel, Liam and Susan? How did you guys feel about these places?
I grew up in a small town, so it felt like home to me. The people were much nicer in Italy, though. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, so welcoming. I mean, it was amazing because it's obviously it's not something that we're used to. We live closer to, like Houston has got like close to 8 million people in the metro area. So it's nobody, you hear about, we've always heard about Texas friendly, but if you go, our experience that week that we were in Italy, there's no comparison. It's just amazing how the people there, even the ones that only spoke a little bit of English, were so welcoming, and just like they love their country, they love Abruzzo, and they just wanted to tell us about it and spend time with us and talk to us. That was just amazing. It was not what we're used to. So
yeah, and it's amazing you get such a vibe from such small places as well. It comes from everywhere, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So, Roger, I can't remember on your tour, did we do Pacentro? I'm just going to show a quick photograph.
No, we timed out for Pacentro, but my wife and I went the next day. It was just breathtaking.
Yes. Yeah, it is a beautiful place. I remember one of the tours, I think we managed to sneak it in at the end of the day. The second tour, I don't think we got to because it was everybody was too tired, I think. It is nice as well to see people sending a few messages. I don't know if you guys have seen the messages coming on, obviously people that came on the tour as well. But it is so nice for us that when we organize these tours that people become friends afterwards. Roger, are you keeping in touch with, I know we have the WhatsApp group and things like that, but again, you get to meet some great people, don't you?
Well, I set up a Facebook page, Abruzzo with David.
Okay.
So,
right. Oh, okay. So I need to be joining that then, definitely. But no, it is great that people sort of, and also I think it's a help if somebody has an idea or somebody wants to do something, to have that little bit of almost like a community thing around you of people that speak your language and everything else, just to, I don't know, jeer you on a little bit and also be there. I don't know, you could be friends later and hopefully meet out here somewhere in Abruzzo. There's a few people on these tours that in the process of, or some are going through negotiations and things like that. We just need to have a big group gathering back out this sort of way. Mm-hmm. So Roger, ideally, all the places that we visited, which would you say, which two gave you a good feeling?
Well, we fell in love with Simona just like everybody else. It's just magical. It's like I didn't really actually feel my feet touching the ground when we were walking around. It was more sort of like floated through the city. And then we didn't get there as a group, but we went to Popoli, and that was just that was it. We were like, okay, we know where we're going.
And so you got to, because Popoli is an area that we are going to be doing a lot of as well as Pratola. So did Popoli become the one for you then in the end?
Yeah, I can't put it in words. We literally walked around with our mouths open, going, this is so beautiful. And everybody would walk up and ask those questions, like with whatever English they knew. So they're so proud of their towns, and it just sparked your heart. Yeah. It's awesome.
It actually gets you quite. I sometimes when I'm talking about here and talking about Italians in general, you can get quite emotional about it because you can't explain it to people until people have been here. And I think lots of us look for the perfect in everything. But the real things that count, and I've said it on so many things, are the things that you you can't sell to somebody. You can't write it in a description or an advert for a property. You can't. It's something that you feel, and yeah, I think the more time you spend here as well, and living here especially, yeah, credit to the Italian nation, I say, because I think they've got it absolutely perfect. So, Joe and Sherry, what does the future look like for you guys? So you obviously we're closing on this in January. You're coming out in February. You've already talked about smashing your bathroom up and everything else. So
right. Yeah, we do need an American shower, like a real,
okay.
not the tube that we have there. So yeah, we're looking to stay for. We're gonna stay for 2 weeks, and I said if I get this, and this done, I could stay another 2 weeks. And then he said, well, then I can return after those 2 weeks, so I could be there 6 weeks, and he would come and bookend. So now we're trying to figure out what the best time, how to do it all, and get people into work also.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get out of their way. So if that's the case, we'll figure that out. But we're very excited. I mean, if I do nothing to it, it will be fine. It will be fine.
Yes.
But it's hard not to dream and start to want to change things. So to make it add a few of those tick marks I couldn't put on the original list and just fix it up.
Yeah.
But the location we couldn't be happier with.
Yeah, the location is really perfect, and actually, I mean, I think the apartment is very nice. You know, for somebody who grew up in a big city, it's about 750 square feet. So for me, it's certainly about tiny. But, you know, it's not as large as some of those places. Some of those places were humongous.
Yes,
So by that comparison, yes, it is small. But it's not, I mean, for somebody who lived in a city, it's really not that small.
And I think the other thing as well, it's more what you do when you're here. You're not going to be sat around in your house or your apartment all the time. You're going to be out and about exploring this unbelievable place. So it's I think it's so the plan then is what to come and see more of Abruzzo, spend more time in your house, and then decide later. What are you thinking about moving, or is it just going to be?
I think we're going to want to stay in Sulmona. I do believe that. And if this works out, that size is perfect, and we all know our kids come to visit. You don't know if you want to pay that premium to add bedrooms to your place, or give them their privacy and get them an Airbnb while they come to visit. You know, so I said, you know, price wise, it's probably just as expensive just to get a smaller place and put them up when they come, and they can have their privacy down, you know, 2 doors down or down the block. So we're not really sure if something comes up, like if that place in Atteston that you showed last week showed up in Sulmona, we'd be knocking on your door, Dave, so we got to have that. But that place was, talk about being tempted. That place, I don't know if you still have it. I guess it was sold before that video was over. I bet that place was sold. So right, so everyone was probably jaws were hanging open watching that. But you know, that if that were in Sulmona, it wouldn't be that price.
No, it's great. I mean, the new properties coming up and some of the new areas coming up. I mean, there's going to be plenty of properties around, so I'm sure new things will come up. So, Joe and Chris, what's the future look like for you guys? What have you? I know you were here for a long time. You went to Puglia. You went to everywhere else. What's your plans now? What's the next steps?
Well, I think for us, you know, and we talked about it, Dave, you know, the difference between doing something in consideration of the big family, you know, the 9 grandchildren to date, and or do we just take care of what, you know, the 2 of us are looking for, and then just make sure that there's, you know, different options for them for when they come, whether it be an Airbnb, whether it be something closer to the shore, because obviously the kids are going to do the whole beach scene.
Okay.
And I think that's where we're, you know, definitely leaning towards doing something, you know, more realistic for us, and then accommodating or helping to accommodate the family when they show up, when and if they show up.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, yeah, I know when we sort of restored this house, we on this level where I am now, this 3rd level, we put you know, extra bedrooms, and you're thinking people are going to come, and then nobody comes. You know, and first of all, I'm quite all right with that. Sorry if family's watching. But all of a sudden you realize you spent a huge bulk of money thinking about, what if this happens? What if our friends come? What if these friends come? Because I think we all have this imagination that we're going to come over in coach loads and all spend a nice big family Christmas together, where the reality is it's not always like that, is it? So I think you do have to, sometimes I think you do have to, it's not being selfish, but I do think you have to go down your line. And then once you get settled in and find your feet a little bit more, decide and see how the family go from there. So it's still searching around then for you guys, and still just, are you planning on coming back out?
We loved every town we went to. It was too hard to choose.
Yeah, and I think, Dave, I send you a couple of other things that I saw on the at least, always looking to concentrate with that, with that thing in mind, that when the family comes, they're going to want to be closer to the shore, maybe looking at places that are in fact a little closer to the shore, like that Ripa Teatina looked really, really nice.
Yeah.
Very little town. Only like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to the shore. So,
and that's Rocky Marciano town, isn't it? That's where
exactly.
the family is from. So no, it's a good place, and those areas we're going to go to, because, and also Villa Magna and some of those areas that we're going to be going to as well. Okay, so Roger, what's your plans for the future? What's the next step for you two?
Well, our next step is find a space. We're looking, like we said, in Popoli. We might be flexible around Popoli. We just like the area because it's so accessible. You can take a train right in. Boom, boom. We're going to start it as vacation, and then eventually our goal is to retire.
So you're definitely going to move out here then? The goal is still that?
Well, we had a hard time coming home. We had a hard time actually leaving Abruzzo. We went to that restaurant that you took us to for lunch. We went there twice after that.
Which one? The one in Sulmona or the one in
Sulmona with the patio?
Right. Okay.
I think we were there 5 times.
Did you ever blown away with how ridiculously inexpensive it is to eat?
Yeah.
You go to lunch in California and it's $50 for a burger, 2 burgers, and 2 sodas. Here in Abruzzo, we're having, appetizers, cocktails, a bottle of wine, dessert, everything. You're at 60 euros, and it's like, I'm living like a king.
And that's the reality. That's why it's a great place, especially to retire to. I think you get here to retire, then you've made it. I mean, the cost of living is so low especially compared to the States, and it's what people seem to be doing now. Instead of being asset rich, so to speak, with the houses and everything, people selling off the houses that are worth a fortune in areas like the States and the UK, and coming to Italy, buying something at a decent price and living the life, and that's it's not a bad idea, is it really? So Liam and Susan, what's your plans? What does the future look like for you guys as far as your Italy dreams concerned?
We fell in love with Palombaro because we want to live near you and Tony. But Ferro San Martino too. I mean, we just love that. We stayed a little longer after the tour, so we drove out there to Ferro San Martino, and it was amazing. I love the water there. You and I we talked about that, Dave. Yeah. Right now we're not really sure when, because if we see the right place, it's like we'll be calling you then, Dave, and say, hey, we want to move on this. Can we do a remote buy? And it may be 6 months, until we find the right place. But we're right there on the edge trying to make that decision. But if you don't mind, I got to give a plug real quick for Tony, because
I'd rather you didn't. Can we end it there?
That same restaurant that you all were talking about, Tony sat near us that day, and we had a conversation with him, and we asked him some really difficult questions, because we were like, hey, do you ever miss your family? Have you ever regretted it? And even ask, hey, if you had an elevator speech about moving to Italy, what would it be? And Tony sat with us, and he gave us heartfelt answers. I mean, it was like visiting with, a lifelong friend, and it was so amazing. And I even told Tony at that time, I said, hey, if just visiting with you for that period of time was worth the trip alone. So thank you, Tony.
Oh, that's fair. Let me bring him on. Let me bring him on. Here he is. Look. He's all embarrassed now. Well, that was a nice comment, Tony. That doesn't happen very often, does it?
Very much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? To be honest. Just to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is what we do.
It was extremely
I don't
helpful.
answer any question. Well, really neither.
Yeah, he's not bad, Tony. We like to let him out every now and then, but just hide him away again, just in case he gets too big-headed. No, that's superb. So, as far as then, sorry, Tony, I will hide you away now. I know you're busy. So, as far as then talking about remote buying. I mean, Joe and Sherry, you guys are pretty much doing that because you've not seen the property, but you've been here. How do I know Liam and Susan, you said that you potentially would. Joe and Chris, what's your thoughts about things like that now? Would it be something that you would consider?
Honestly, Dave, because of you being there and knowing your track record, yeah, it's something that we would consider. I mean, doing remote buying, you're just, a force to be reckoned with when it comes to having your act together on that. So, yeah,
that's good of you, Tony. I'm just trying to get a few comments about me now. That's why I got rid of Tony. No, joking aside, he's laughing. Look, I'll bring him back on again just to say that. I told you he's laughing. Okay.
Tell me, am I right or wrong?
Hang on a second. What was
right?
Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Okay, so as far as, I mean, obviously you guys, Joe and Sherry, you're doing it. Roger, if it came to remote buying, would you have I don't know why these things are not, I'm trying to drag you into position to take over the main screen. It's just not happening. Roger, would you have we've
already discussed this. When we find the property, you're going to be the guy. It's our confidence level is very high. We were confident before we came there, but since then our confidence level has gone up and up and up. It's just a matter of finding the property. And when we have two different realities, we have my wife's reality and my reality. We just got to meet on one property.
Yeah, you're not going to win that one, Roger, I'm afraid.
Well, happy wife, happy life.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, well, what can I say? Thank you guys so much it's just nice to hear, again, these things are not about plugging our business. We do that when we're here doing the shows anyway, but it's so great to meet people like you that become sort of an email, and then you become people, and then you become friends together and everything. And I think it's such a fantastic thing. I just wish all of you the very best in whatever decisions that you decide in future. I think you're all fantastic and deserve a break in Italy, definitely. So thank you so much for giving up time to do this. I really, really appreciate it. Hopefully, Joe and Sherry, once your place goes through, we'll probably, or when you see it for the first time, maybe we can do another one, and you can let people know if you like everything. What else can I say? Just have a fantastic, can I say it now? It was the end of November, but I'm going to say have a great Christmas with families and everything else. I really appreciate you giving up your time. I really do. Thank you so much. I'm sure everybody else does as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm just going to hide you guys. Let's do this one at a time. There you go. Okay. I thought I'd better say goodbye before I start getting emotional again. I hope you guys, hope everybody enjoyed that one. And again, I'm always pushing the toes. So I'm not just, that's not why we did tonight. But I hope that you see that what these tours can do, and the fact that people become friends afterwards and get a whole different experience out of it. That's what we've always wanted to do, to make the buying process, to make everything to do with even choosing properties, even if people don't choose here, even if people choose in another area or another part, but just the fact that people come out together and see properties together, it's a completely different way of doing things. We think it works. And yeah, it's great when people come and a testament to this and a testament to this amazing area, which is Abruzzo. So hopefully we've sold. What's Helen saying? Was Helen asking for the name of the restaurant was, and I've completely forgot. I'll tell you on next week's show. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining us once again. Remember, next week we're talking about cost of living. So that should be, obviously it varies up and down Italy, but I'm going to give you a cost of living in this area because this is where we live. So that hopefully you'll join us on that one next Tuesday. Remember, it's always Tuesdays from 7 p.m. onwards. Really appreciate all your support as per usual. And I look forward to speaking to you again next week, which is the first one in December. So we need to have Tony, you need to, I don't know if anybody noticed, he started growing his beard again. That will be, that's going to be Christmas Tony in a couple of weeks. But it's going to be glasses of wine every Tuesday. Doesn't matter what time it is in the world, wherever you are in the world, I expect glass of wine and watch these shows. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you next Tuesday.